Yes, you read it right. I think Peter will be Venom. Now, the reason why I think Peter will be Venom is because I have this thought that they're like trying to be metaphorical. They're telling this story. You know what I'm saying? So you have Peter in the first game literally fighting demons. Like that's the name of the enemies that he's fighting. So in his sequel, like now he becomes possessed entirely by the alien, the demon. It's very interesting, that's what I think. I think like that's where they're taking it there. It's this whole metaphorical, symbolic thing, Insomniac, and I think that probably what happens is with the black suit, Craven is going to kill Peter, right? But then he's going to like come out of the grave as Venom, and there's more than likely it's going to be that conflict with first Miles fighting Craven, and then where's Peter? Oh my God, Peter's not answering. Oh, and then the monster appears, and it becomes who's the monster? Because Peter is dead. Is it Harry? Who's the monster? What's up? What's up? And then it's eventually revealed it's Peter. Peter's the monster, and he's not dead. It's just the symbiote was consuming him or whatever, and it then took over. And it becomes like Miles probably having to work with Harry, and Harry helping out Miles, and them coming up with the thing to stop Peter, to get him out of that suit. Probably Craven. Craven probably teams up with him too. We gotta stop Peter, get him out of that suit. I mean, maybe though, maybe it is Craven. No, I don't think it's Craven. I really don't think it's Craven. I don't even think it's Harry. I think, and it could maybe become Harry later on in the game, but I don't really think so. I don't think, no, I don't really think so. Perhaps Peter will become Venom and actually kill Harry, and that'll be like the thing why Norman Osborn is pissed. Yeah, I'm taking it completely left, completely out of. Peter becomes Venom and he kills Harry accidentally, or there's some type of thing where it takes place where Harry gets caught in it and he gets hurt or dies, and then it's like, oh, we gotta stop Peter, and Peter and Miles gotta fight, and maybe the symbiote gets off of him and then is gets away or something. I don't know. I think though the statue with Venom and Miles, I think that's more that probably there probably will be gameplay of that, but if they do it, it might be metaphorical. It might be like Spider-Man Peter Parker fighting dark suit Peter Parker with Miles, and yeah, I'm taking it completely. But hey, I think they could do something like that if you got the first game, he's literally fighting demons, and then like now the symbiote, the alien that got on him, like why not? Why wouldn't they take it that route at least? And then from a gameplay component, it's still Spider-Man, it's still Peter Parker. I'll make a video really going into like my full thoughts on and what I would where I think that story would go, but from where I'm sitting, I feel like something that's unexpected is something like that. And it kind of goes in line with, I feel like they kind of echo and mirror previous games. So, like the previous game, Miles and his best friend fought. And in this game, that there could be something similar to that. Not necessarily Harry and Peter fighting, but we know Harry knows that Peter is Spider-Man. We know that he's working with him and helping him. They're both still working on whatever crusade they're, or in the first game, Peter was working with Dr. Otto Octavius, and their plan was like to be on the cutting edge of medicine and biotechnological advancements and all of that stuff. And things kind of went a little haywire, and perhaps that's where Peter, he's going to maybe mirror that a little bit with Harry Osborn. Maybe Harry understands that Peter is Spider-Man after Peter reveals it to him, and the symbiote, Harry probably reveals the symbiote to Peter, and he's like, hey man, maybe you could test it out because you got all these abilities. In the Amazing Spider-Man movie, Harry asked Peter for his blood, and Peter was like, no, it's too dangerous. Maybe there's something similar to that, but instead of the blood, or it's the maybe the symbiote needing to get the power from Peter, and then that power being transferred onto Harry or onto the user, whoever wears it, something like that. The idea of the medicine being uh, the Peter's literal abilities, and the symbiote being something that can grab or latch on to those abilities, and whoever else is the wearer of the symbiote, they get those abilities. And that could be like the concept of the cure for Harry, but they just need to do some testing and allow Peter to really imprint on the symbiote, stuff like that. So perhaps that's where it goes. And everything I'm talking about, if you know of the character Venom, if you know of the comics, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not calling Venom a demonic, like, demon, but I'm saying from that perspective of that story of where they are right now with the him fighting demons and stuff, like him getting, this would be him basically getting possessed, and them carrying that out, and eventually him having to, get rid of it, get and figure out what to do, and all of that. I think that's where they could go. Maybe even like, because who brought Craven to New York? Now, there's two things. Perhaps Craven decided to just go to New York. He said, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in New York. I'm about to check it out. Maybe he did that. Maybe he's hired from someone. Now, who would he be hired by? Would he honestly be hired by Norman Osborn? Why would he be hired by Norman Osborn if he was? To get Peter so that he can imprint on the symbiote. But Harry is present while Peter is in the symbiote suit and he's fighting in that gameplay. So perhaps there's an outside source entirely that has hired Craven. It's not Norman. Perhaps it's someone else, another villain, somebody, and they hired Craven to go after Spider-Man, probably the Lizard, everything, everyone that's going, everything, and that outside entity, maybe it's Tombstone, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's Wilson Fisk, but that outside entity being a component in everything. And when Craven is bested by Spider-Man, that probably is when it becomes personal for him, and that's when he sees the beauty in the spider, and his thought process is now he can be the better Spider-Man, and he decides to put on this suit, put on the Spider-Man suit, put on the Venom suit. And maybe he gets bested by it. Maybe he fully gets overtaken and he becomes Venom. Maybe that's how Craven becomes Venom. But I do think that for the most part, at least initially, Peter will be Venom, and that's because that's the reason. That's a way for them to do the story, and it's different from what people are used to, but it's still the same because it's Spider-Man and it's him with the black suit, but it's not Eddie Brock. But they can still do Venom. We can still have Venom, and then there can be a way to have that gameplay not be as jarring as just, oh, now you're playing as Venom, but instead it's like a continuation or an evolution of the character that we're already playing as, Peter Parker. So that's what I think. I think that perhaps it will go on Harry Osborn, maybe, but but if it does, I think the reason for that, the start of that, is the concept of them doing the science and them testing it out, and Peter allowing that suit to take his essence. That way that essence can be used to potentially save Harry from the ailment that he has, and as things go along, perhaps Craven, who's hired by somebody else, when he gets bested or sees the abilities that Peter has, he's like, whoa, I want that, and he tries to take the suit, but the suit is alive. After he then comes up with his other plan, he sees that the loud noise affects Spider-Man. So perhaps he does. After they have their next fight, Craven, he gets the best of him. He kills him, but the symbiote, it's asexual, so it can reproduce without another, so it reproduces, and then a part of it is still on Peter, and is like basically keeps Peter alive and resurrects him when he's in that tomb that Craven built for him, and they fought at, and Craven threw him in, Craven takes the suit, because he like, I can be the real Spider-Man, but the suit, maybe it takes over him, or maybe it doesn't, maybe it kills him, I don't know, maybe. But my thought process is, we're going to have Peter become Venom. That's who is going to be, and at least at one point, that's who Venom is. And it maybe it jumps off, and then Peter and Miles can fight whoever is Venom. Harry Osborn, maybe. If it's Harry Osborn, then that's going in line with the mirroring of the Miles Morales game, with them fighting the best friend. But I think that perhaps that conflict with Venom can be a little bit different. It can be Peter Parker as Venom does something and messes things up, and Harry gets hurt in the process, and that fuels Norman Osborn like, yo, you just messed with my boy. My boy, look what they did to, So maybe that's where and then things. Norman ain't the dude to play with. Otto know, you know what I'm saying. So things get green eventually. But that's what I think. These are just ideas in the sphere, ideas that aren't really put together in a concurrent well, it's in a logical fashion, but it's not in the most, everything taped together and I got my whole diagram. But you can understand where I'm coming from and what I'm saying to some degree. And hopefully it's a little interesting. I mean, it's interesting to me. This story, I think, will be interesting. We'll make a video completely, like, really talk about, I think this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. But now I'm not posting that right now. What y'all think about what I just said, though? I think Peter is going to be Venom, and that's going to be the way for them to really transition into the gameplay in a seamless way, a way that isn't jarring, and a way that works for the game. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Have a good one. Peace.